So, manifestation culture is focused on thoughts and beliefs, and I know you're still probably seeing a lot of that online, and it's kind of everywhere at this point. And there's a new part of this sequence, definitely through that book, Mind Magic. It just kind of brought it home for me. The belief that the body experiences reality before the mind interprets it. So, the way that I'm going to say this, that I hope is the most clear, is the brain is constantly predicting the future based on past experiences. So let's put this into real life context. If you had a horrific divorce or a horrific breakup, it's inside of your nervous system, that memory of going through that breakup, the pain, the sadness, the loss, the fear, all of the above. It's in your system. So if you are trying so hard to put effort into online dating, matchmakers, you're doing everything you can to attract, manifest that relationship. But inside yourself, in your nervous system, and in your body, you have fear of some kind, then you can't relax enough to receive, because you can only receive when you feel safe. When you go from having X amount of income to X amount of income, it's a change from status quo. And if it feels dangerous to you or unsafe, you have thoughts about that. You have thoughts about how money can make you unsafe and bad things happen to people when they get money. These types of feelings can block that manifestation, even if you're trying every day to look at your vision board and to do the deep work of visualization. You have to be able to relax the nervous system to fully attract what you want. And then, what does not feeling safe actually look like? It could look like your need to control everything, to be super vigilant about your environment, all the details, that you know it's coming from fear. It's not coming from trust, it's coming from fear. Another one is you have difficulty receiving. When something comes in, it's hard to receive it, whether it's a compliment, a new client, someone says, I'm going to fix you up on a date. There's something blocking you. Like your first reaction is like, I don't know about that. Like, I don't know if I can handle that. I don't know if I can handle another client right now. I'm not sure. You don't really feel safe receiving, even when things are going well, like things are moving along, things are good, and you're just looking for the next problem. Like, where's the shoe gonna fall? You're not able to get to that state of living in safety, living in abundance and manifestation. So there are probably a lot of other signs if you think about what you do specifically to almost warn you or keep you safe. It thinks it's keeping you safe by creating these barriers, but really those are blocking the natural manifestation from coming in. So the brain doesn't ask what we want, it asks whether it's safe. A new lens on this is resistance isn't sabotage, it's protection. So when you find yourself resisting that opportunity in that first second that you're given it, it's just part of you protecting you from what you've experienced in the past, or a change that your system doesn't know for sure it can acclimate to, that it's worthy of. That's all it is protection. And when you think about all these areas of what you want, do you feel safe to receive it? And really sit with that for a minute. Do you feel in some way you can expand to receive what's coming in? And when you really look at that more closely, you might see where there's even just a little part of you that isn't ready. And that's okay. That's understanding it, questioning it, and getting to know that part of you. Financial is a big one too. It's There's so many preconceived ideas about financial abundance. Is that something uncomfortable for you because of where you grew up or messaging you received or experiences you've had in the past where you were around financial abundance and it didn't feel right to you? And could that be potentially blocking you from really receiving the abundance that you seek? The next thing I want to talk about is why intention alone isn't enough. So, I love intention. I talked about the first podcast of 2026. But when it comes to manifestation, it's not enough to have the intention. Because sometimes intention looks like trying harder, maybe trying too hard. That's the person that's going out on dates, online dates every day, 5 days a week. But you don't feel safe to receive, you're in conflict. So you're not getting anywhere because you want it, but you're blocking it. You want it, but you don't feel totally safe. And the nervous system always wins over willpower. This is a really big one for me. I'm going to say it again. The nervous system always wins over willpower. The body is vastly more intelligent and it will win. You cannot outsmart it. If you don't feel it in your body and you don't feel deep alignment with what you want, you're not going to override your thoughts. So you cannot visualize a future that your body doesn't trust. So let's just sit with that for a minute. You cannot visualize a future that your body doesn't trust. Okay, next we're going to talk about visualization, because visualization is a critical part in this. A Dr. Doty insight from Mind Magic is, when the brain is in a state of fear, the imagination collapses. So the part of our brain that wants to dream big and our imagination is not able to be active if we are in a state of fear. We're shut down. We cannot even visualize what we want because we're too trapped in the fear thinking, in the fear feelings. So that's important to know. But visualization is very helpful and it activates all these neural pathways. At the same time, the stress can block the creativity. So manifestation requires the ability to imagine without fear. So you're feeling safe to dream big, to imagine big, to access your deepest, deepest dreams. And you can feel safe doing so. So it's all connected. Next is compassion as a biological state. This is my biggest takeaway from Mind Magic. Compassion is really one of the secret sauces to manifesting, because when you get through this work and you see like there's a side of me that doesn't feel worthy, there's a part of me that's in fear about this happening, that needs compassion. When you can comfort yourself and say, it's okay that you don't feel like you can receive this right now. I have compassion for the part of me that isn't ready to receive. That's a secret to actually healing that and moving forward safely into manifesting. So compassion for yourself downshifts the nervous system. It restores coherence between the heart, brain, and body. This is why self-compassion changes what's possible. So, wrapping it up, put safety before the strategy. Explore safety, embrace it, find it in yourself, bring it into this process. Work to regulate your nervous system and relax it first. So you come into a place of softness before you're reaching for that next thing. I'm going to share a little bit about my story here to kind of share where I learned this method and how I know it's true. When I was dating, I was single for 14 years. I was dating, I was a single mom, and there's a part of me that was in fight or flight the whole time when I was doing this. I was really kind of grasping for it. Inside, I felt more panicky about it, like I should be in a relationship. But then there's also a big part of me that was afraid of a relationship because I had been so hurt in my divorce. And I did not want to disrupt my life again. I didn't want to hurt my daughter. I was all those years when I was thinking, oh, I'm really wanting a relationship. Looking back now, I wasn't at all aligned with one because of my resistance, my fear, my lack of safety when I thought about it. So for me, what happened is exactly what I'm sharing here is I found a different safety and contentment within myself first. And that came from work, that came from coaching, that came from therapy, but found it within myself, kind of a grounding and a home base feeling where I knew that I was okay. I felt safe to explore. And from that place, I attracted a wonderful partner. And I didn't have to try very hard. And I believe that to be true. I've seen that with my clients. I've seen it with friends. I've seen it in so many areas of my life. But it's not going to take as much work because you're walking around with this sense of safety, contentment. It is so magnetic. You just magnetize your desires. And I know that sounds magical or whimsical or mystical, but it's just the truth. When you find it within yourself and you relax and you see yourself in the situation, things come in much more easily. So it changes the manifestation order. So I'm going to give you a new order now that maybe will be a surprise. Instead of starting with the visualization and then going through all these steps, first is safety. Second is regulation, which you can do through many different processes we'll be getting into, but regulation, which is calming down the system, going into parasympathetic versus sympathetic. And parasympathetic is this relaxed state where all the good things happen. Then to the desire. Then it's what do you want when you feel safe and you feel calm. Then intention. What is the intention? Then the aligned action. So it's turning things upside down. But I'm telling you, this works. I want to ask you a few coaching questions. First, I want you to think about something you really want. Take a minute and think about it. What do you want? Next, I want you to ask yourself, does my body feel safe wanting this? And be honest. And then ask, what part of me is fearful of getting it? And last, what would make this desire feel less threatening? What can I do to comfort myself so that I don't feel afraid? In coaching, we believe that you are the expert on your life and I'm your partner. I partner with you and we together explore these things. This topic in particular is something I love working with clients. So if you want to go together through this process of manifestation, you can reach out to me at trisharosestone.com.